before learning active and passive voice, I just want to tell that in my previous videos I have covered many of the concepts relating to grammar. So, in today's concept, we are going to deal with active and passive voice. Before going to active and passive voice again, we are here to understand the rules of active and passive voice. So, the rules plays a very important role. So, in this video, let's know what is active and passive, and let's learn what are the rules of active and passive voice. See, subject plus verb plus object. I is a subject, write is a verb, a letter is an object. I subject, write verb, a letter is an object. I repeat, I is subject, write is verb, a letter is an object. So, you are here to reverse the position of object and subject, or subject and object. Subject goes to the object place and object comes to the subject place. Verb is slightly changed, so that we need to know the rules. Okay, so I write a letter is an active voice. A letter is written by me is passive voice. So, subject has gone to the object and object has come to the subject. So, in order to know this in detail, okay, let's first understand the rules of active and passive voice. See, I have written here as the rules of active and passive. So, the first rule of active and passive, see, in English, every sentence is in the format of subject plus verb plus object. It is the conventional form of the sentence. However, in conversation, we can change the patterns slightly, but in the traditional way and conventional way, unlike conversational way, the concept of what we call as structure of English depends on subject plus verb plus object. Now, the second rule is subject goes to the object place and object comes to the subject place. Verb remains in the same position, but a very important rule is, okay, the tense form remains the same while converting from object to subject, okay, from converting from active to passive voice. The tense forms. For example, here I had taken a sentence, isn't it? I write a letter. The subject never tells you the tense forms, neither the object tells you the tense forms. Write, that is verb, tells you the tense forms. So, if you have to understand these things in detail, I have done the videos of tense forms in the previous videos. You can refer to my channel there. So, you will get a broad understanding of those things. I is a subject, write is a verb, a letter is an object, isn't it? Now, what is the determining factor here? Verb is the determining factor, where we have to decide the tense form. Now, write is in the present tense form. Okay, suppose it was wrote, I wrote a letter. Suppose if it was like that. So, the verb would be in past tense form. So, this is the tense forms. Now, we are here to understand whether the verb is in the present tense form or in the past tense form, because if the active voice is in present tense, the passive should also be in present tense. If the active voice is in past tense, the passive should also be in past tense. But in direct and indirect direct and indirect speech, the format changes there. Okay, but in active and passive, the format is different. Okay, so I hope this much is understood by you. I write a letter. I has become me here. Okay, I has gone to the object place. A letter is in the subject place now. A letter is in the subject place. A letter is written by me. Okay, write is, since write is in present tense form, is the verb that we have taken here, that is the be forms here. So according to the rules, the tense of the sentence, the tense of the sentence whatever we have taken will remain same. Okay, from active to passive the tense will not change. Suppose the active is in present tense, it will not become past tense. Passive will never become past tense. If it is in active voice, if the sentence is in active voice, present tense form, then the sentence in passive voice will also be in present tense. If the active sentence is in past tense, passive sentence will also be in past tense. So the tense form remains same. Now we are supposed to use the be forms here. What are these be forms? In my previous videos I have extensively dealt with the be forms and auxiliary verbs, or what we call the auxiliaries. Okay, in my previous videos I have done all these things, kindly refer there. So be forms are, see, for your convenience I am showing here. So the be forms are this list. Okay, so be forms are am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. These are extensively used in active, from converting from active and passive form. If the tense is in present tense, we are supposed to use okay, based on the subject there. And if it is in past tense, we are supposed to use based on the subject. If the subject is in singular, okay, we have to see the singular examples. If the subject is in plural, we have to see the plural examples. Similarly, past tense also. If the subject is in past tense, singular, then past tense singular form will be used in be forms. Then if the subject is in past tense plural, past tense plural examples will be used in this form. Okay, now let us take see what was the example that we had taken earlier. I write a letter, isn't it? So I write a letter is an example. I is always used with am. But okay, right, sorry, now the object has come to the subject place, isn't it? A letter is third person singular, hence is we have taken. So according to the rules, we are what are we using here? We are using be forms. So these are the be forms. So on the be forms itself and the auxiliary itself, I have made a separate video, you can go through that. Now the fourth rule is main verb is converted into past participle form. Again, main verb, we, okay, this also I have done the video earlier. Okay, so main verb is what we call, the verb is divided into three major tense segments. Those are present tense, past tense and the past participle forms. Okay, what are these present tense, past tense and past participle forms? See, for example, I write a letter, isn't it? So write is in present tense form. Wrote will be in past tense form. Written will be the past participle form. Again, I insist you to see the video of main verbs there. Next, what is the next rule here? The next rule is add a conjunction by. Initially what you do is, see, a letter is written by me. Okay, initially while practicing you use by, but in some of the passive forms we don't use by, but still it is in passive. We'll take those example in future somewhere, but for now, for time being, let us take this example. So first rule is subject goes to the object place and object comes to the second subject place. Second rule is what we call the tense form remains the same. If the active voice is in present tense, passive will also be in present tense only. Okay, subject plus verb plus object is the first formula. We have to divide the sentence into subject plus verb plus object. Then subject goes to the object place and object comes to the subject place. The third example is, the third rule is, the same tense form follows, which is in active will also be in passive. Then the fourth rule is we are supposed to use a be forms or auxiliaries in between, then main verb is converted. Whatever main verb you are using, write is converted into written. Okay, eat is converted into eaten. Then similarly other verbs are also converted. Manage is converted into managed. Similarly, main verb is converted always into past participle form. This is the fifth rule. The sixth rule is add a conjunction by. Okay, the seventh and the last rule. Okay, the seventh rule here is change of pronoun while converting from active to passive. I becomes me, we becomes us. See, while converting from active to passive, I is always converted into passive as me. We is converted as us. You is converted or him or her. You is converted into them. He, him. She, her. It. They, them. Okay, the only pronoun change, whereas noun form remains the same. Suppose in the subject there was noun form, it would not change. Okay, then the last rule is okay. Intransitive verbs cannot be converted from active to passive because the verbs does not transfer its work from subject to object. Intransitive verbs are one of the types of verbs there. So all types of sentences in English cannot be converted into active and passive. Those which can be converted are transitive, and those which cannot be converted from subject to, cannot be converted into passive or called intransitive verbs in a general manner. Okay, so I hope this short video has revealed you some of the examples of what we call the active and passive. In the next videos we'll meet with another video. Thank you, have a nice time, take care, bye.